Stadt in Berlin, Germany. I'm Adelheid Bergenflurgen, and this morning, while traffic is continuing to pile up on Highway Wiener Schnitzel, and it is still too cold outside to drink our vodka, I come to you with the latest broadcast on what many are beginning to call the Cold War. Join us as we step inside the mind of many Cold War political figures and the actions they plan to take during this time.
This is sore throat weather, mean and nasty. What can you do about weather like this? Nothing. What can you do about the sore throat pain it often brings? Plenty. Take Sucrets, as many doctors recommend, for fast, temporary relief. Sucrets antiseptic lozenges help relieve sore throat pain fast. Sucrets contain the unique pain reliever, hexylresorcinol. Unlike leading mouthwash and cough syrup products, Sucrets dissolve slowly, continuously releasing hexylresorcinol to bathe inflamed throat tissue. Sucrets kill germs on contact to help prevent infection, and Sucrets relieves sore throat pain fast. You can eat, drink, even smoke in greater comfort. Sucrets help relieve minor sore throat pain fast.
As tensions among the communist East Berlin continue to build, more people are fleeing into democratic West Berlin in hopes of prosperity and freedom. Throughout the 1950s, West Berlin has showcased freedom and individualism, qualities lacking in the East. Now everyone seems to be on the move, and in order to stop this fleeing, East Germany has chosen to build the Berlin Wall. We are currently seeing a massive concrete barrier being constructed with barbed wire tops and many patrolling guards.
At the home of contented cows, where the grass is green and the cows can browse, the milk they give is simply grand. Carnation is the brand.
For finer, fresher dairy foods,
Carnation is the brand.
Mr. Cow,
Yes?
how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I don't know. I always end up biting. Ask Mr. Fox, for he's much cleverer than I.
Mr. Fox, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Why don't you ask Mr. Turtle, for he's been around a lot longer than I. Me, I bite.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Why, he never made it without biting. Ask Mr. Owl, for he is the wisest of us all.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
A good question. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 3.
If there's anything I can't stand, it's a smart owl.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
Join us in the Oval Office as we talk with President Kennedy. What is your plan for preparing for war, and how is this plan being put into action?
Well, Addie, mankind must put an end to war before war puts an end to mankind.
Recent news suggests that Russia's missiles are more powerful than ever. How is the U.S. planning on fighting back?
Well, Addie, let me tell you that those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable.
Your candidate, Mr. Nixon, has quite the reputation behind him. What are you going to give to the U.S. that he can't?
Well, you see, I'm a dynamic new light that will be coming to the United States. I plan to put forth tremendous effort to give my country civil rights, foreign relations, and to going to space.
What? Space? That's not a very easy task now, is it?
Well, you see, we choose to go to the moon not because it's easy, but because it is hard. Now, I hope many of you will tune into my next debate against Mr. Nixon. It will be our first ever televised debate, and I plan to knock my competition out of the Watergate. Water. Not only will this debate decide the outcome of the election, but it will be the first of many more efforts to create, repair, and preserve public figure and persuade public opinion using this new media.
And lastly, Mr. Kennedy, sir, What are some of your campaign points for this upcoming election?
Well, first, I promise to end segregation. I have full support in this, as I have won the African American vote over Nixon 70% to 30%. For this issue, we must not counsel patience and delay equal rights. And lastly, some might say most importantly, we must, as a country, crack down on the illicit sale of habit-forming drugs in men, women, and children. From thence on, we shall support the federal aid to parochial schools, hasten school desegregation, integrate public schools and places, and provide comprehensive education from preschool to post-college. I must remind you that the human mind is our fundamental resource.
When you go into the party and everybody's looking at your evening gown, be glad you chose a Volkswagen vodka.
Welcome back. Our first Cold War interviewee is Joseph Stalin. Our first guest in the studio is Joseph Stalin. Mr. Stalin, can you tell us a little bit about who you are?
Certainly, comrade. I was fearless leader of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Under my leadership, I reinvent better Russia. I cause famine to weed out unbelievers. I inspire millions of Russians to create military superpower.
Sounds great. What would you say are your greatest accomplishments?
Where do I start? Well, for starters, I outmaneuvered my opponents to take control of Russia. I also killed thousands of traitors, or as Donald Trump would say, losers. Oh, and I also chose my brilliant successor, Nikita Khrushchev.
Nikita Khrushchev, can you tell me a little bit about him?
He reminds me a little of myself. We both had our vodka, same time, age 3. We also have same mustache. Thank you.
This is the girl. This is the dress. And this is the look, the fresh, lively look of CoverGirl Dorothea McGowan. What photographer wouldn't agree that this face, this fashion, this figure make the perfect cover for 17 magazine? Dorothea's complexion always looks so natural you can't believe it's makeup. She uses CoverGirl, fragrant liquid and powder with famous Noxzema medication to help improve your complexion. And brand new CoverGirl lipstick in stunning colors chosen by CoverGirls. Medicated to help keep lips soft, moist, luscious. So for that naturally glamorous CoverGirl look, get CoverGirl Cosmetics with famous Noxzema medication. Glamour that's good for your skin, good for your lips.
Our next interviewee is someone Joseph Stalin had talked about, Nikita Khrushchev. Cuba has been through a big crisis. Can you explain what it was about?
The Cuban Missile Crisis was a 13-day confrontation from October 15 to October 28, 1962, between the United States and the Soviet Union over the positioning of nuclear missiles in Cuba.
How did this confrontation start?
So, in 1962, we, the Soviet Union, secretly placed nuclear-tipped missiles on the communist-led island Cuba, because Cuba at this time was on our side. And then, after the US discovered the missiles, they responded by blocking Cuba.
What was the aftermath?
Well, after a period followed of intense discussion and fear of a nuclear catastrophe, then President John F. Kennedy made a proposal to me, Nikita Khrushchev, and I accepted. We, the Soviets, withdrew the missiles after the US pledged publicly never to invade Cuba again.
Hello, friend. My name is Rudy. I used to be gynecology in Cuba. Now I sell car here in America and TDN Aerosol. TDN Aerosol! What do we have? We have car. We have motorbike. We have the Gadda, but somebody stole it. It's not there. I am a Cuban gynecologist and American auto salesman. I want to liberate this Chevy Impala from the car lot. I need to free the mics, this Ford Explorer. We are on official inspection station. Do you have bad credit? Start the revolution. People with bad credit driving everywhere. This is our address. Knockout Award for number pre-qualified in this website.
The last interviewee today is Fidel Castro. Welcome, and how are you today?
I'm good.
Okay, I'm well too, thanks for asking. Would you like to explain to our audience who you are?
I am the Prime Minister and President of Cuba. My position was renamed in 1967, 17 years after I took over to president.
You said you took over Cuba. Would you care to explain?
It started when I became a law student. My parents before were never part of politics. In school, I became interested and later ran for Cuban House of Representatives.
Wow, that's big. How did the election go?
The election never happened. My rap buddy of an opponent sniped it out from under me, and the election never happened. In an attempt to win back my sweet beloved country, I led an assault, which did end up getting captured. 'Tis was not my finest attack, but the good old days, you know. When I got captured, they sentenced me to 15 years of prison, but instead I went to Mexico. I created a small army, and together we went back to Cuba, and we were attacked, with only 18 of my men surviving. From then on, it was small victories that led to bigger ones.
Just a few more questions. How does the view of Americans and Cubans' opinion on you differ?
The United States does not like me. I want to make Cuba great again, not America. That's it. Welcome back. Oh God, I don't know what to say. I have to write it up. I can't do that.
This is going in our bloopers.